let's say a whole different person that doesn't like you calls in 1,000 referrals that says, oh, I see dad drunk every night, blah, 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 blah. We include your criminal history, say, well, we haven't seen any indication of X, Y, and Z. Court doesn't want a snapshot of what's happening this day. They want an overall picture of your overall functioning in the community, at home, at work, whatever, to either disprove or lend support to whatever allegations are in front of them. So if you're being accused of using drugs, your criminal history has a lot to do with it, because some people manage to fly under the radar. Some people have various arrests relating to the problems that we see in front of court. So criminal history, just like the additional legal history, is one of the portions of the report that we are expected to submit to court. That's not something that Sandra, Adrian, whoever I decide to put in there. That is a requirement from the government, and so this is what we supply. They want to know. But what we can't do is spend all day talking about why we do what we do. Because I don't sit there and pick and choose, be like, I'm going to do this about dad. I'm going to pick this about mom. Because you're never going to get anywhere. I think the purpose is everyone is here to talk about what is best for Darlene. And we have to go that way. We can't go backwards. You can't undo the detention from you. You can't undo the detention from mother. The best is to say, look, this is where we were. These are the mistakes I've had. I'm willing to do it. But when you sit there and be like, well, nobody can find me. I don't know. You can't find me. I'll let you know when I pop up. I'll let you know when I'm available. It makes you look shady.
No one's.
I'm telling you, it makes you look shady. I'm telling you this. Because let me finish.
Is the way this investigation is going, and no clarity is being given.
You're investigating the investigation again.
Okay, let's just move forward. Let me just get whatever needs to get done for Darlene, because it's all about Darlene here. It's not about me. It's not about any of you guys. You guys are doing your job. I'm doing my job, and I want to move forward.
Where are you living right now?
I'm homeless.
Hold on, to answer your question, we can provide you with the copies of the report and the corresponding manuals.
I did send you, sir, a copy of the petition, the notice, and a copy of the detention report.
I just got that. That's what I was gonna ask you too, because it just includes the very first report with Rebecca Shipman. That's it, right?
That's the report, exactly.
So this is it's in entirety. This is it.
No, that's what's been submitted to court. That's the detention report, and you have a copy of the petition. Now, when
What happened to the other?
disposition and jurisdiction report that I will be writing, you will be mailed that copy as well.
Okay,
However, we do need an address for you. So, can you provide us with an address where you're staying?
You may be homeless.
You can submit it to my home address that I have on file, 2017. I mean, I'm not living there right now, but it is my home.
So I guess the question is, just like we have to do unannounced visits wherever, it's the same for you. Clearly you're showering. I understand you don't have this necessarily your own home, but clearly you're showering somewhere. Where do you sleep at night?
There's a nice park bench I like to stay at right there at the beach.
Where do you shower then?
I got a gym membership.
And where's that?
On Lincoln and Jefferson.
Which gym is it?
24-hour fitness.
And where do you launder your clothes?
The laundromat.
24 hours. So the question is, there were no, as far as I know, calls or anything from you until the baby was detained, and then it kind of pops up. So it lends the question of, well, maybe he wasn't calling for visits because he was with her.
Okay, well, I have records showing that I called left several voicemails with.
Before she was detained.
Before she was detained. I can play them for you if you want.
You're gonna play me a message that you left for someone else?
Yeah, because I was recording everything.
Do you know that in the state of California, it's illegal to record things without people's consent?
That's fine, but I'm not trying to use it in court. I'm just using it to reference so I remember what it said. So I remember what I'm saying, so that I can
So you're recording now?
So I can recall. No, I'm not recording.
Because it's not allowed.
And they will,
Okay.
if you go to court to record, they will.
Well, I'm not
I'm
trying
just letting you know.
if I do record, it's to remember what I've said, not to record you guys, just so I remember what I've said and what I've inquired about.
Well, I would suggest you take notes because I do not give you permission to record me.
Okay, that's
I'd be
fine.
very clear about that. So you're
And
not reporting
that's
right
what I'm
now.
confused about, transparency. You guys are all talking about transparency and
That's
being
a
forthcoming.
California rule.
I'm just saying, you guys wanna talk about transparency and being forthcoming, but you're not willing to let me document by any means necessary for me.
Do you have a phone on you today?
Yeah, my phone, you wanna see it?
Sure. Yes.
So transparency is in terms of, you get copies of your reports. You
Soft.
you receive copies of reports, so you should not be, people should not be talking in court about things that you've never heard of or seen, and that kind of thing. So that's why you get copies of your own stuff. Your attorney also, he has copies, so if you happen to lose things, or don't bring it with you, let's say when you go to the court hearing, your attorney can have a copy made or whatever it is for you too, just so you know.
Do you guys keep on record all your voicemails, or do you guys erase them after a certain time period? Cause I've left voicemails. Are you guys
Okay,
able to look?
Stop, please stop.
Estamos en lo que estamos, por favor. A mí lo único que me interesa es la niña.
Yo también, yo ya dije,
Okay.
por eso no, yo creo, hay que seguir con eso.
Ok. Y ya como dijo ella, que yo puedo aplicar, voy a aplicar, porque a mí me interesa el bienestar
Like my
de
mom
la
was
niña
saying,
y de
Our concern here is
ustedes,
Darlene. I think, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to argue about the past and present, what I've done,
ellos ya
but,
están grandes,
I mean, you guys are
ellos
asking me
pueden-
questions that really are relevant to what
A mí ahorita lo que
I'm
me
trying to get to,
importa
the
es
point, you know, like, let's do whatever we came to do with
porque no es la
Darlene.
única niña.
The only question I've asked is about where you sleep at night and about the
Okay.
immunizations, and I thought that was relevant.
Okay.
The court wants to know your whereabouts.
Okay.
And if you sleep in the same place, then I would like to know that too, because we need to be able to come see you.
I mean, I'm couch surfing, but, yeah. You can get a call, you can call me and I can show up here, I mean, it's no problem,
That's
like,
not unannounced. That's you showing up when you choose to do so.
I don't understand what are the unannounced visits for.
Unannounced visits are
It's
things
part of
that
the department's policy that we have to make face-to-face contact with parents when there's a concern.
Well, I'll give you my schedule, my work schedule, and then, my school schedule, and then most of the time I'm there anyway, so you can visit me there. I mean, I'd like a courtesy call, but,
Are you interested in knowing about the reason why?
I just, whatever is concerns Darlene right now, I just
So
want to.
that's part of it, because the department is tasked to assess your ability to be a safe and appropriate parent.
Okay.
And so part of that is being able to provide, a safe home.
Yeah, I'm working on a place right now, I'm trying to get, I'm supposed to get housing, so as soon as I get, an address, I'll provide that for you.
Okay, and then also, to ensure that parents are, free of drugs.
Of course.
For instance, if you were, Darlene's a little older, and you were going to check out a preschool, you might make an appointment to look, you might not, because you wanna see what's really happening. It's the same thing that we're tasked with.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm
sorry,
gonna
go ahead,
transition
go ahead.
to, our meeting agenda, I've provided it in
Sí,
Spanish,
ya lo leí.
Yes.
Gracias.
and then I also provided it in English and Spanish for you as well. So I know we've had some talk, so this might seem a little odd, but.
And I feel better. Thank you.
Don't feel bad.
Yeah, no, thank you, and
Hey, you didn't have questions, it's
mi
okay.
prioridad, my parent is the baby,
Absolutely.
is the baby.
Di en español lo de
Ya lo dijo ella, ya me lo dijo ella. Okay.
So, we've been talking, but I just wanna do introductions really quick. So I'm Adrienne Hawkins, I am the, assigned, services supervisor. So Sandra,
And I'm Sandra Hernandez, the caseworker on the team.
so that means that for whatever court orders there are, mom and dad go through Sandra. If there are concerns about the baby, everybody goes through Sandra. About questions or concerns or things are going well, Sandra needs to get the information so that she can report all of that back to court accurately.
Well, right now, the one reporting to court is Julia.
We'll get there when we get around to court.
Correct.
Mhm.
Mi nombre es Lourdes Buendía y soy la abuela de David.
Lydia Chavez, dependency investigator.
I'm Angela Thomas, I'm the dependency investigator supervisor.
No, Julian Buendia.
So there is also a sign-in sheet. Mhm. And, okay, so it's in Spanish at the bottom. So basically, this sign-in sheet, talks about confidentiality, and confidentiality meaning the things that we talk about and discuss in this room are confidential to this room. There is one caveat, we do report information to court regarding, the fact that we had this meeting, what the outcome of the meeting is, any concerns that come up as a result of the meeting. Additionally, because we are mandated reporters, if there are any concerns of abuse and neglect, we are obligated to report that to the child abuse hotline. So I'm just gonna send that around for everybody to, and just ask for your name, your relationship to the child, and a contact number. And as that's going around, I would just like to say that, I appreciate your advocacy for yourself and for your daughter. I know this is a very difficult situation. It's been, multi-layered, and certainly I'm imagining from your viewpoint at this point does not seem fair. But again, I just want to underscore the point and purpose of the meeting is for us to figure out a plan for which you will walk away with today that identifies specific tasks and goals for you to complete so that we can make recommendations to court for the purpose of redefining the document.
We get a copy of that too. We take them as we go. Oh, Sandra decided to make her own.
I know,
You know what? I was like, who's the
I
extra
know.
person? We're gonna go like this.
no, but you had to sign, you had to cross,
Mm-mm,
top.
mm-mm, mm-mm. Oh, I crossed the line.
Yeah.
That's what I get to talking now. I'm the pro.
This is Lourdes,
When's it?
Buen día.
It says present. We're good. Okay.
Y mi esposo está ahí en el
That's
iba a llegar
And I tried, you know what, I haven't tried to pull it since Thursday or Friday.
No,
But I started myself a note, like, I need them, because I didn't know if it was gonna say something crazy.
Me iba a preguntarles cómo llegaron aquí,
Mi esposo maneja.
pero se estacionaron.
O él buscó un lugar por eso entró
Se me olvidó
después.
decirles, porque nosotros tenemos estacionamiento y podemos validar.
Oh, no, él se fue a estacionar a 3 cuartos.
So the next
Por eso
item,
me dijo, él toma tiempo, porque yo me vine en bus. Yo no manejo.
on the agenda, is for you, Mr. Buendia, to state what it is your family goal is. And so that's what you would like to see occur.
Well, I like to see me back with my child and, me and Michelle back together and just undisturbed. I feel like this is intrusive, I feel like it's been coercive, and I feel like
Just the goal, just the goal.
that's my goal, just to avoid you guys, get you out of my life, to be honest.
But get us out with,
I mean,
with you and
to
Michelle,
assuring,
what's your dream for your
that
family together?
everybody's, aware that we're in good health and good condition, and Darlene's in good health and good condition, and everybody's satisfied to that extent, to just know that Darlene's in good hands, and that's the whole reason why we let Rebecca Shipman in is, and I had told her, you know what, we wanna make sure, go ahead, I encouraged her to stay and do her report. She wanted to leave, and I made a mistake to say, hey, you know what, you gotta do your job, I know you're now welcome, openly, a lot of the times. I'm sure you get, treated with hostility a lot of times, but, I mean, my goal is just to assure everybody that Darlene Buendia's safety and health is in good hands.
And to be fair, respectfully.
Respectfully, yeah.
She's in good hands with you and mother.
Yeah.
Because, you know, some people told that I want my kids fine, but I don't want to bother them. So that's why.
Thank you for that.
Clear.
Okay, let me read this, you agree with this. Other wants to reunify with the child Darlene and be with mother, to no longer have the department involved and ensure Darlene is safe with father and mother.
Sounds good.
The next item on our agenda is the non-negotiable. And this portion has to do with court orders, so that could mean court orders of dependency, or if there are criminal court orders involved, restraining orders, etc. So I will allow Lydia, since she's in charge of the legal portion of the case at this point, talk about what our.
Okay, so at this time, your visits with Darlene are monitored, until court provides us with discretion to liberalize, and that is also depending on your compliance also with the services. One of the main things that you do need to comply, sir, is with drug testing. That's a non-negotiable, and as of now, we don't have any drug tests.
That was January 29th.
Yes, and it is my understanding that Sandra provided you with a list of the sites. And as of now, we still don't have a site listed for you, and we do need to provide that, and we do need to start having those drug tests take place.
This could be a delay in.
Right, no, yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
And then the only other one that has to do with the parents, obviously, she needs to go to the doctor, blah, blah, blah. Is that, and, as soon as you can get us the information about the immunization or not, so we can present to the court, so we can make a decision if either one of you or both of you are opposed. And the only other court thing is that right now she's been detained from both of your care, that's something we can undo today.
En la corte la cambiaron.
Did they change the court?
No, the 20th is still there, they moved the 27th.
Movieron el 27.
So the 20th is still there, so we'll talk on the 20th, but they had a backup date on the 27th, they moved it to
Sí,
4/3.
porque él me estaba diciendo que le mandaron. O el del 27 no va a ser. No. Ah, sí, porque él me estaba diciendo, le dije, no, si es el 27.
No lo movió, la corte lo movió.
So they, originally they did put that, but let's get past the 20th, because court is
primero la
strange, and they may
3:20.
move it again.
No, y primero en el 3:20, porque después en la corte se va a ver si de verdad va a ser ese día o va a ser otro día, que lo pueden cambiar igual.
Yeah, they do it according to their schedule.
La corte,
Other things.
las órdenes dependiendo de su.
Figure out how to get the testing, looks like we'll have a good bit of time.
Right.
Test.
Yeah, okay, I'll report, I'm gonna look over that list again, make sure it's
Maybe you can find a place that's by your job.
no, yeah, I'll give you a call today for Darlene, and then the immunization, and then,
They're gonna have you go test today, so why don't you pick a place today, and if it's not the place that you normally do, they can change it. Do you work every day?
yeah, I mean, I'm pretty busy.
So what I'm saying is maybe you will pick your testing date close to your job.
Okay,
You know what I'm saying?
downtown,
Are you going to school too?
yeah, I'm going towards adult school.
So el 20 sí va a ser.
Ahorita
Podemos ir. Ajá.
So let's just get to the 20th.
I hope.
Yeah.
So just to
Yes, sir.
recap for the non-negotiables, it's monitor visits for father at this time, drug testing, with a drug on demand, to begin testing. And then
I don't know if there's any criminal,
because I heard earlier about a restraining order.
No, there's no restraining order, it's
Okay.
a criminal order.
Okay, so then the next item is ground rules, which we pretty much, conversational fashion. However, are there any ground rules you would like to set for the meeting? Meaning,
Las reglas de la junta, una persona de la vez.
What do you wanna do?
time set
Get it
aside.
set?
I actually do have to go to work today, but, I mean, I was trying to go in by 12. I mean, I just wanna get the main objective, you know, out the way, and what are my requirements, you know, to follow through with everybody ensuring, you know, that Darlene's safe, or, you know, I just really just want, it's not about Darlene right now, and I know I was a little bit, there's some confusion going on, and I felt like it was unfair, and that's why I keep bringing up these things from the past, but, I mean, if they're not gonna get addressed now, when they haven't been, I mean, let's just move forward with Darlene.
I will tell you one thing, just in case there's any confusion, we talked about what the court orders are now. Whenever court has made their findings as to whatever the next steps are, you're gonna get another set of court orders. I don't want you to think that what you have now is it.
Well, I mean, like I mentioned with Sandra, if you guys are already anticipating requiring me to do other classes, I mean, shoot them right now, you know?
Yeah.
I'll get a jump start on that, cause I really do wanna just end this as soon as possible.
Incluso yo le
I just
dije,
didn't want you to
baby,
be like,
que
they
son
didn't tell me
jóvenes,
that, cause we don't have that yet,
y
but they
métete
will
en-
change.
Porque a mí me gusta ver programas así, y entonces le dije, hay un programa, que si tú vas y te entregas y dices que eres un joven, que necesitas ayuda, para que le demuestres a la corte que no tienes nada, que
That
estás
she's
limpio.
in person, like if he was homeless, then he could go and obtain like services for homelessness, just to get ahead of the court.
If I do, I know if I do something like that, it's like a 30-day, or I don't know what the shortest, I just wanna know what services are out there available that could make this even shorter than what you know? I don't wanna do 6 months, I don't wanna wait more than, you know, any
You
longer.
have to.
So, just from our, professional understanding of the court and how the department works, particularly in cases like this, standard orders usually look like a parenting class, court, individual counseling. Court also orders, particularly when they see that there has been a delay in a parent testing or, some sort of delay in their, willingness to test, they will order, random drug testing, and if there's a missed test in between that, they will order a full program. So you mentioned about, a timeline. The court looks at cases in 6-month periods, particularly after, 6 months
To do.
at a time. So,
In 6 months,
They
then
do
see the
6 months
baby.
at a time.
No,
No.
en 6 meses es el,
Yeah.
For
lo
the
que
next court
toma
date.
de cuando ya encuentren lo que es.
Once court has
Y la
made their
orden.
decisions on these allegations,
Sí,
it
en
might
cuanto
take them a couple of
Porque
times.
haga la
But once they
decisión,
make the final
esto,
decision on these
van a
allegations,
hacer
they'll
órdenes
set another
que tienen
hearing
que
in 6 months. And they do that because their expectation, is that, like drug treatment programs, things like that, they take a little longer, which I'm anticipating they're gonna order just because of the positive drug test, period.
We wanna see progress.
Right.
Sí, porque dije yo, lo van a
No,
acabar de
When I
destrozar.
saw her face, I was like, wait a minute.
we'll make sure that
Yeah.
visits occur, and then, visits get liberalized based upon a parent's progress with that.
When is Darlene gonna be returning to one of our families, custody? Or care, foster care, parent, when?
A relative care.
What relative care, yeah, when is, I just don't wanna be in this foster home
I know
anymore.
they're in the process of being assessed, I mean, they're going through our thing, and there was a little hiccup, so right now that hiccup's trying to get cleared, so.
Okay.
It was out of our control,
Oh,
so right now that needs to.
And why wasn't my mom given any prior,
So we're getting off track with that. You wanna write that question down?
But
We're
then
gonna
just
get
to,
that
Okay.
answer that, the court did refer her to our thing. She didn't know what was going on, and she thought the baby couldn't go to her because of everything, so she canceled our thing.
okay, well, that's great.
So that, so we could go ahead and reinitiate that. But
but-
our phase is the one that says we don't assess our phase 2, until we get an approval saying that the
Resource
home.
assessment.
oh yeah, RFA standard, what are those standards?
There are a million standards, we're not gonna go through those today.
Is there a website
we
I
don't
can
do that.
read them? Cause they said my mom's house it wasn't RFA standard. Is there just some kind of guidelines or?
That's why
There are a
we
million
refer,
guidelines,
and then they will let her know.
from
But-
cleanliness to number of bedrooms to every
Right.
house is different.
But there's,
You don't have to
can't-
worry
you
about that,
can't- you
because
can't
that's
write-
under you can control, they will contact
will-
her.
She was
And
the
if
one
they
that
have
could
to
deal
go
with
out
that.
more than once, they will give her a list of things based on what she has.
But
I'm not
for
gonna-
his peace of mind though, he's
Mhm.
asking so that he
It
can
has to
know
do with the
that-
number of people that live in the house, the
Well,
number
I
of
mean,
people
I was
that
just
share
asking
the
for like a
time.
guideline,
Yeah,
like
for
online or
You
so
can look-
that we
you
can,
look
so we
up
can make sure we're in
Resource
compliance.
Family Assessment.
Resource
Porque
family
ella me
assessment.
dijo la que fue,
And it's,
y ya había hecho el
state
programa, y se
guidelines,
supone que
so
este
again, it's
sábado
nothing that the
tiene
department
yo
has
que ir a
control
las
over.
primeras dos clases.
And usually the
Y
largest,
eso, pero dije yo,
issue
no
with
quiero que se vea que
home
estoy
being approved has
compitiendo
to
con
do
el
with
otro abuelo,
criminal background
porque él me
check. So
dijo que
every
hasta
adult
la
has to
edad
be clear,
y ya no
Right.
puedo
and if there are teenagers,
aplicar,
14 years
que
old,
no puedo
they
aplicar
have to
porque
be,
tengo,
assessed as well.
People with
De que
significant contact, that kind of thing.
que no protege
So,
a nadie.
Sometimes people ask about, why can't my aunt, uncle, blah, 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 have my child? And we may not be have the ability to
So,
tell you, well, your aunt,
Es
uncle,
lo que no
so-and-so
entiendo,
has
por
a
eso estoy
criminal
tan
history, blah, blah, that's not
confundida,
something we would share
porque
with
todo
them.
esto
We just say,
está
I'm sorry, we
en-
can't. You may not know that
No, le
information,
dije,
we're not gonna
"Oh,
divulge
eso
someone
no va a
else's
estar
criminal
porque
history
yo
to
voy
you,
a
even if
luchar
they're
porque
related
mi
to you.
récord esté limpio,
You
porque
understand?
toda mi vida aquí
Yeah,
he
I
tenido
think
un
that's-
récord limpio y he cuidado
That's their
de mi
business, so just
niña,
like
y
I'm not,
I
you
know,
know.
but
y yo
I feel
puedo
like that's
conseguir
contrary
las
to what's
cartas que
been
ya
going
son
on.
unos
but-
niños.
Yeah, but your portion is different because you're the
Lo que
client
dice
and court is
participar en la
asking, not
iglesia, he
court,
tomado
the
clases para
state mandates are asking that your criminal history be
psicológicamente cuidar
part,
a los
but that's
niños
also why
y
your
todo
family
eso,
does not
so
get
es
copies
like,
of your report.
para
If you
mí es
choose
como
to
que
share, that's on
me
you.
pusieron un
But
pie
that's why
hasta
you
abajo.
get copies, but they're not distributed to your entire family because that's
Entonces le
your
voy a
business.
hablar a esta muchacha para que
Ajá, a lo mejor, y le
So
podemos
next
dar
item
preguntas. Sabemos cómo se llama.
on the agenda
sí,
is the family
sí,
story.
porque ya tenía yo las clases
And
para
so,
tengo que volverme a tomar
Go
huellas
family
porque ya me las
story.
había
Creo que
tomado
ya estamos
con-
siguiendo, por favor.
No,
We're just saying next item is,
Sorry.
that's okay, is the family story. And so the goal of that is for you to share the things that are important about your family that also, could assist the department in creating a plan to get to reunification, in a faster way. So for instance, some families, their religious, practice, is very important to them, particular tradition.
We're
how
just
you were
trying to
raised.
get to know you.
Outside of
This.
the paper, that's my story.
I just think this should have been done before the removal order, but I'm not gonna go back into time and I just feel like it's unfortunate that you guys didn't get to know us before,
What can we know now of you?
Or your relationship with your mom or your family or whatever you wanna share about.
Well, we're family oriented and we're hardworking people and we just like to enjoy each other's company and, we like to just entertain ourselves whichever way we can, go out, or whether it's at the house with the barbecue or something, but this case has displaced me and it's really caused a lot of internal problems with my family, so it's kinda a little too late to try to go back on some of this stuff, but.
I think it's not about going, I think it's
mi
maybe,
familia se destrozó.
Her family was destroyed.
Mis hijas ya no quieren ir a la casa
Says her daughters don't wanna go to her house anymore because they're afraid,
por sus hijos.
They're
Yo
not
las
their children.
entiendo, yo las entiendo.
and she understands
Que
them.
tiene que proteger a sus
And they
hijos
need to
cada
protect
uno.
their children, each of them.
Mi familia era muy unida.
That her
Nos
family was
juntábamos
very
los
united,
domingos,
they will get
íbamos a
together on
los
Sundays,
juegos,
they will go to
los
plays,
niños juegan
the children's play,
todo, a veces nos reuníamos en la casa de uno o en la del
or
otro.
a different family member's house.
Y por eso el día que ella fue no me encontró
That's why
porque
when
yo fui a ver
I went,
un juego de
she wasn't
niños
home because she went
de
to
voleibol.
one of the kids,
Ahora
game.
todo está out. Luego mi hija dijo que no pueden estar los niños, vive abajo, pero no pueden subir los niños.
daughter says that her children can't go over to her house anymore, although she lives downstairs. let them over to her house.
Es como que se rompió todo.
Everything was torn.
Me siento yo como antes, que nunca he pasado algo así.
That she's never been through anything like this.
Yo voy a ver a mi mamá, ahorita estoy deteniendo por no ir a ver a mi
That she
mamá.
wants to go see her mother, but
Que se
it's not able to
solucione
go
esto.
because she wants all this to be resolved.
Mi mami vive en México
Her mom is in Mexico.
y padece del corazón y todo
Her
eso,
mom
pero
has
ya
heart
le dije a
problems.
ella que no, este año no voy a ir a verla.
She told this year she's not gonna be able to go see her.
Necesito yo que David esté bien.
She needs to assure Darlene is doing well.
No, nunca esperé. Yo les he enseñado a mis hijos lo mejor, que la
Taught her
familia es
children
la
the
unida.
best, and that the family is united.
Y por eso es que me siento desesperada
And then she feels very frustrated.
y no sé qué hacer, no sé
She
qué
doesn't
hacer.
know what to do.
Y hablé con un abogado y también me dijo lo mismo, que lo mejor que no estén los niños porque pueden involucrarse los niños también.
Children not to be involved because otherwise they could also get involved in all this.
En fin, y son muchos niños.
And it's a lot of
No
kids.
es, todos mis niños, los mayores, los nietos mayores, todos tienen
All
carreras que están
grandkids are all
estudiando, o sea, no
like
es, son niños
careers.
que están en,
Studious. They're
es,
not.
es so hard, for me es so hard. So, lo que podamos hacer por recuperar a la niña
So whatever we can do to recuperate
es lo que voy a hacer.
it's all that she's gonna focus on.
Yeah. So, eso es lo único que les puedo decir.
That's all she could say.
Sí, porque sí es cierto, teníamos una cerveza, pero yo pienso que
Saying
todos
that, yeah, there was a beer.
en la casa, y yo a veces junto con botes de
She said
cerveza y se
sometimes
enoja
she does collect, like, she gets
por
cans.
money y eso. Y sí había, ahí estaban, pero
Yeah,
no
no,
es
it's
que
beer
nos los
cans,
tomamos todos
But it
los
wasn't
días,
because they
es
were all,
porque-
they were drinking, or they drink every day.
y ella me dijo, no, es que ellos están tomando, no puede
And she
decir
said that
algo
they said,
porque
"Oh,
no
no,
hay una
they're
cámara donde especifique que ellos estaban tomando". Yo le expliqué a ella, yo junto botes a veces, pues todos necesitamos dinero, y de alguna manera,
She said she collects cans because they all need money.
sí.
I know people get paid a lot of money to listen to their problems.
Okay.
There's a lot of characters that take a lot of money.
Okay. Bueno,
I just wanna move on. I gotta get going to work.
No, but that was good because in terms of like, I know it wasn't necessarily the way we usually hear a family story, but from what I got from that, families usually they can be in different places, but they're at grandma's house on Sundays, and just gives a snapshot about how you guys have a very large family, and we're hoping that we can all work together so that maybe those people can be a resource in terms of monitoring visits, or who can help with what, instead of everyone necessarily running away, that's, I know, causing all this